welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we are continuing the rereading Harry Potter series and I'm so excited. So this is part 2. In part 1 we did the first 3 books and part 2 and on is just going to be 1 book per video. So this video is going to be me reading Goblet of Fire. Now, I have only read books 4 through 7 once in my entire life, and the last time that I read these was, I think it was the 6th movie came out, is the last time that I read all of the books. So it's been a hot minute. And I know in books 4 through 7, there are a lot more things that happen in the books than in the movies, but I just don't remember what those things are. So I'm very excited to jump back into this and see what the movie's missing, if it's missing anything at all, and just see what my feelings are about it. But I'm really excited no matter what. And like I said in part 1 of this series is not going to be spoiler free. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now that if you haven't watched the movies or read the books or anything like that, then I highly recommend that you get on that before watching this series, unless you just want to watch this series and you don't care about anything being spoiled. It's up to you. Also, another disclaimer that I said back in part 1, every single one of these books is going to be 5 stars for me for pure nostalgia and just knowing how everything fleshes out towards the end. It's a beautiful magical web of awesomeness and everything's going to be 5 stars, so don't be shocked. I am planning, however, in the last part of the series to do sort of a ranking of all the books, just for my personal taste on where I would place them in 1 through 7. So look forward to that. But I think that's all as far as an introduction goes, so let's jump into the video. So I wanted to give a little bit of an update before I start getting ready to go to work. I am on chapter 4. It's just so good. So one thought that I'm having already, I knew starting in the 4th book and on, there were some pretty big differences between the book and the movie, or the books and the movies. We're already coming up on like 1 scene difference. In the movie, he starts off and he's at the Burrow with the Weasleys. Here, he's with the Dursleys. Now, I feel like this also plays a role in the difference between Harry and Sirius's relationship in the books versus the movies. I feel like in the movies, it's talked about a little bit. Like, they will have a couple conversations here and there. It's hard for the relationship to be built just in the movies, is what I'm saying. But in the book, it's already talked about within the first 3 chapters how Harry is yearning for a parental figure because he just had the dream where it has Voldemort and Wormtail, the garden keeper, and all of that, you know, intro scene that's the same as the movie. And he wakes up and his scar is hurting and he doesn't know what to do. And he's just like, I feel stupid going to any other adult in my life. I just want to have someone who's like a parent that I can just talk to and not feel judged. He was like, wait, I have Sirius, and he's yearning for this parental figure and he sees it in Sirius. And I feel like in the movies that doesn't come across as strong as it does in the books. And I feel like the reasoning why Harry's life has improved at the beginning of this book at the Dursleys is because of Sirius. Because Harry's kind of using Sirius's wrongful conviction of him being a murderer to his benefit and is making the Dursleys terrified that he's going to do something to them. In turn, Harry Harry just got the invitation to go to the Quidditch World Cup with the Weasleys. Oh, I wish that this letter had been in the movies. Oh, it's so funny and so innocent. Molly writes to the Dursleys to ask for permission, but we find out from another letter from Ron that they're pretending to ask for permission. We're getting you no matter what. Vernon is having this like inner turmoil of like, if I let him go, he's gonna be happy, but if I make him stay here, then he's gonna be here and I don't want him here. And Harry tips the scales in his favor when he mentions, well, I'm writing a letter to Sirius and I guess I'm just gonna have to tell him that I'm not going to the Quidditch World Cup, and that gets him the ticket to go. And I feel like these little moments took out some of the opportunities that could have been in the movie to strengthen the relationship between Harry and Sirius, or like form their story a little bit more, because I feel like you don't have enough time with just the movies to really form a bond with Sirius as much as in the books. Obviously the books are longer, there's more detail, there's more correspondence, all that jazz, but I still wish that some of this could have been implemented into the movies a little bit more, especially with what all goes down in the 5th book movie, etc. All that being said, I am on chapter 4. I believe this is where the Weasleys are going to come and get Harry to take him back to the Burrow, and then we're going to go to the Quidditch World Cup and the story will continue from there. And I was going to try and read it on my physical book. I'm going to be doing like 3 different methods of reading this. I have my physical book, I have my Kindle, and I also got the audiobook from Hoopla. I'm going to be all over the place, but if I want to read this book in a reasonable amount of time, given that it's 600 plus pages, I need all the methods to make my life easier because I'm a busy girl. So anyways, I have a little bit longer before I have to go and get ready for work, so I'm going to sit and read for just a little bit longer, and I guess that's all my updates. Also, look at my Kindle case. Isn't it so cute? It has the bow because I'm a mood reader and 12 books don't fit in my bag. It's just so cute. Anyways, tangent. Anywho, I'm gonna do a little bit more reading, then get ready for work, and then go to work. Typical day. So I'll see you when I see you. Okay. Hi. So, I am on chapter 10. We just finished at the scene where they're at the Quidditch World Cup and the Death Eaters show up. The Dark Mark is cast. I'm trying to think. I'm going into this like ready to observe the differences between the books and the movies, obviously, but I'm also trying to think, is there a way that would have made it make sense to include certain things in the movie that are in the book? Yeah. Because at the Quidditch World Cup, we meet Winky, who is a house elf, who is Mr. Crouch's house elf. She plays a pretty big role from what I remember. I remembered that she was a part of this, but I didn't remember whose house elf she was, and I still don't fully remember like all the connections for everything when it has to do with her, but she does play a significant role in what went down at the Quidditch Cup, you know? And I'm trying to think, is there any sort of way that they could have put that into the movie and not made it random and confusing? And, you know, I'll be able to think of it more afterwards. But I feel like when they get into these thicker books, it's a lot harder to put in all of the details. But as long as the overall story and what happens stays the same, then it's fine. There's something that I'm very passionate about in the last book, but we'll cover that when I get there. But so far so good in Goblet of Fire. Let me see. In the actual book, I'm on page 123 out of like 615-ish pages. This much. I don't know if you can see that very well. I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to read tonight because if you can't tell, I'm exhausted. So I kind of want to just shut off for the night. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I will pick up reading again tomorrow. I'm working from home, so I'll probably have more opportunities to read than I do if I have to go into the office. So that is the plan. But right now I'm going to go to sleep and then we'll pick back up Goblet of Fire tomorrow and see how much I can read of it. Because I feel like once we get into Hogwarts, I'm just going to be binging everything because that's when all Triwizard Tournament events are going to be happening. I'm going to go to bed and I will chat with you tomorrow. I don't know why I was doing peace signs. We're not going to talk about it. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Hi. So I wanted to give a little bit of an update. This morning I have been very productive with my reading. I have mostly been listening to the audiobook on my phone on Hoopla. So I don't have any footage of that because I record everything on my phone. So there was no way to do both. So I'm sorry about that. I am on chapter 16, page 209 in the book. And I'm pretty happy with that, if I do say so myself. I was just fully immersing myself into the story, listening to the audiobook, and then I was just playing Animal Crossing on mute, trying to understand the turnip system in there. That's besides the point. No one cares. Anyways, we are back at Hogwarts and some stuff is going down. We're just now getting to the point where the Goblet of Fire is introduced. They've already announced the Triwizard Tournament and Durmstrang and the Beauxbatons are all at Hogwarts now. So now we're starting to get into people actually putting their name into the Goblet of Fire to be picked for the Triwizard Tournament. So that's where we're at. And let's just talk about where we've been. So I'm just gonna start with Hermione because she's very prominent with all of this. She is on this mission, full on house elf ally, and she is just like, they deserve pay, they deserve to be treated better. Like, she is on her soapbox, y'all. Obviously, I don't know the day-to-day of a common house elf. However, Hermione's only experience with a house elf is them being incredibly mistreated. So I don't blame her for going very proactive with everything. But a lot of the other people that are wizards, like born and raised, like in wizard households, they're like, more often than not, they're very happy with their jobs. So it's like a weird side story, I guess. And I did not remember this at all when I was like trying to think back on this book. Did not remember that part at all. So I'm very interested to see how it fleshes out throughout the rest of the book with that particular plot line. And then the other thing, which I've talked about before in this video already, how in the book you understand more about Harry and Sirius's relationship and how it forms over time. In the movies, you just don't see it as much. Like, you see Harry and Sirius just talking about things, but you don't understand like the concern that's going on with this and like what's going on in Harry's mind. You can act it out, but actually reading the words of what's going on in his mind and what he's portraying, like Sirius is thinking, and the things that Sirius is putting at risk, talking to Harry and trying to get him and help him through everything he's going through. You just don't get that in the movies. And I understand that there wasn't a ton of time to do that. Like, they literally had the end of the third movie, the fourth movie, but he's still not like here. But there are a lot of other things happening in the fourth movie or the fourth book. And it's really difficult to get all of those things in. And then you just have basically the fifth movie to build up that whole relationship. So it's really hard to understand how close they got. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. And the last thing that we hear from Sirius is him just saying, I'm already in the country, like, keep me updated. Don't use Hedwig, she draws too much attention. Swap owls, find other forms of communication, but keep me updated because I want to know what my godson is up to. Oh. And like, I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen in the next book, and I'm already having like heart palpitations about it. But anyways, I'm going to continue reading. I don't know if I'm going to continue reading on my Kindle physical book or the audiobook, because if I'm being honest, I'm really enjoying the audiobook. The narrator for the Harry Potter series, and I think I said this in my last rereading Harry Potter video, the narrator for it does such a good job with like the voices and everything. I will say though that the headmistress of the Beauxbatons school, the voice that he did for her, he sounds just like in a Harry Potter musical, the person that plays Snape. When I heard the first bit of dialogue that that character has with him doing that voice, I had to stop the audiobook and I just died laughing. I'm like, you sound just like this person. But anyways, that is the update. I have a little bit of work that I need to get done, and then I'll be jumping right back into the book. So we are about a third of the way through, so everything's going good and I'm excited to continue. Okay, I'm gonna stop yapping or else I will sit here forever. So I'll see you later. Can I English? Can I speak? Barely. I'll see you later. Okay, I'm doing something that I am immensely uncomfortable with, and I don't know if I can really look at the camera right now because there is someone in the car right next to me, and I guarantee that she's gonna start looking at me if I talk any louder than I am right now. So be grateful for what I'm doing right now. I'm not updating on Harry Potter right now. I will update later, but something very important and also goes with the vibes of this video. Today is August 22nd, and for those that know, for those that don't, Starbucks fall drinks just came out. And I was not expecting to get one this morning because I thought the Starbucks that I drive by to go to work was gonna be too crowded. But I drove by, there was no one in the drive-thru. There was no one in the drive-thru, not a single being. So I was like, I'm going in there. I texted my boss and I was like, I'm being a common white girl and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get my fall drink. And her only response was like, did you get the PSL message too? So we're good. But I wanted to do a little bit of a taste test. I don't do the PSLs. I'm not a huge pumpkin flavor person unless it's hot, and it's still too hot outside to do that. So iced, I always get the apple crisp iced macchiato. Ooh, it's so good. So I need to mix it up. There's also a really attractive man that just walked out of the gym that is in the complex where I work. Ooh, he's in the car right next to me. You're so hot, but please leave. Why are people just sitting in their cars? I'm saying as I'm literally sitting in my car. Okay, I'm gonna do the rest like this so that he can't see that I'm talking to myself. So I'm gonna try this on camera. I already know I'm gonna like it, but it's so good, so fall, so refreshing. Highly recommend if you haven't tried it already. Also, apologies for my face. I started breaking out this morning, and so I'm not wearing any makeup. So I don't really know how the camera is picking everything up. I am using like my front camera so I can like see myself, but I'm like small compared to when I'm editing. So if there's a lot of spots and redness on my face, my apologies, but I don't see humans during the day very often. So, oh my God, he is still just like right there. And now I've been sitting here so long that if I leave, he's gonna think I'm weird. Okay, I'm just gonna turn off the camera and wait till he goes. Okay, bye. Okay, if you can see my legs, I am wearing shorts. This t-shirt is just very big. So just letting you know. Hey Milo, can you pick a less noisy toy? Can you get your fox? He got his fox and then took it over to his new noisy pumpkin toy and then laid on top of the fox and started playing with the pumpkin toy. Thank you for throwing it. Yeah, you're panting. You're playing so hard. Okay, anyways. So, update. I am on chapter 23, page 340. We're about to start the Yule Ball. So, a lot has happened since I last updated. We had the drawing for the Tri-Wizard Tournament champions. So, we've got Victor Crumb, Fleur Delacour, Cedric Diggory, and the one and only Harry Potter. Shocking. Thankfully, Dumbledore was so level-headed and so calm about everything. He just calmly approaches Harry and just says, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Just so calm. And I'm so glad that the movies depicted that accurately.
Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? No, sir.
Anyways, we're kind of dealing with Harry's mental state of why would someone want to put me into this tournament? Like, it's very dangerous. Is someone playing a joke because it's not funny? Is someone trying to sabotage me because it'll work? Are they trying to humiliate me? Because that's also a possibility. And then he gets to a point of, are they trying to kill me? Well, Harry, you have a track record of people not exactly wanting the best for you, so I'd go with that one. And again, with this situation, he immediately goes to Sirius. And I'm gonna be harping about this a lot, I think. In the movies, you simply don't get enough time. And in this book, there is a lot of communication with Sirius throughout this. Like, you see how much they care about each other in this book. I don't know why I keep hitting it, but I feel like it, so it's gonna keep happening. Now my fingers kind of hurt, so maybe I'll stop. But he goes to Sirius, and Sirius is seriously concerned. And then we have this tense feeling between Harry and Ron. In the movies, it comes off as more petty. In the book, it comes off more sadness and almost betrayal a little bit, because Ron, he has to compare himself to all of his brothers and his family. Like, he's compared to them, whether they are prefect, head boy, successful, or really funny, but still doing well enough in school to get by, but are super likable. Like, he is constantly compared to all of them. And I think he had this feeling of, Harry is my best friend. Yeah, he has this fame that he's had since he was a child, but he can't help that, and he's very humble about all of it. Like, maybe I don't have to worry about competing with him. From Ron's point of view, it was just very, like, hurt. It's very authentic in the book, is what I'll say, and how they come to terms and just figure out their friendship again. It's really sweet, and I really enjoyed it. And Hermione is still going strong with her house elf organization. She's even come face to face with house elves, and they've literally been like, I don't want what you're fighting for. Like, I'm perfectly happy serving humans. Like, this is what I want. Like, Dobby is the oddball out. Like, he's going around saying, like, give me that money, give me that pay, give me that free weekend. I want it all. I'm not your servant, I'm not your slave, I'm Dobby. Dobby's a free elf. He's the odd one out, okay? And Hermione just isn't convinced, and I don't know, I don't have an opinion on it. It's just one of those side plots that is just like, this is very interesting. We've also had the first event with the dragons. We survived, we got the egg. We're good. I don't know why I said it like that. Cool. And now we've gotten to the point where we are about to go to the Yule Ball. Harry and Ron just now locked down their dates, even though they were being so picky with everyone else. They're like, well, crap. Now everyone has a date and we just need them. But Harry's talking about how he asked Cho, and it says in the book that Ginny just like, her face just like falls. You just know. You just know. Also, Rita, our little reporter for the Daily Prophet, I realized as I was reading that I've watched the movie so many times that I cannot, without laughing, think of her name like without a British accent. It has to be Rita Skeeter, because just in an American accent, it's Rita Skeeter, and that just doesn't sound right to me. I like how it's like Rita Skeeter, not Rita Skeeter. Like, it just doesn't sound right. But anyways, I'm on chapter 23. We're starting the Yule Ball on page 340. I'm definitely going to read more tonight, whether it's like physical book or audiobook, because I do have some things I want to do around the house. So I'll probably listen to the audiobook while I do those things. But my goal is to finish this book by the end of tomorrow. I think it's possible. I have like, I think it's 250-ish pages left, 250, 260. So that is the focus. I'm having the best time. This is truly a book full of the best fall vibes. So anyways, I'm gonna go get some stuff done, listen to the audiobook, probably sit down and read some more. Yeah, let's jump into the Yule Ball. So I just got home from work and it is officially the weekend, thank God. And while I was at work, I listened to some of the audiobook and I read a little bit this morning too, but I am on chapter 31 on page 510. So we're in about the last 100 pages. So we're on the home stretch, but we are about to get into the third task of the Triwizard Tournament. So this is just where everything starts going down. And a few thoughts before I dive right back into reading. Again, like I've been saying throughout this entire book, Sirius's involvement in the book versus the movie is astoundingly different. In the book, Harry, Ron, and Hermione meet up with Sirius in Hogsmeade to give him updates. And he gives a little bit of the down low on Barty Crouch Jr. Barty Crouch? Why did I say it like that? Sirius gave background on what happened with Barty Crouch Jr. when it comes to like between him and his dad sending him to Azkaban. Like, Sirius is the first one to really mention him. He is so involved. He is so protective over Harry and giving him so much guidance throughout this entire book. And that's just not seen in the movie. I feel like I'm talking about Sirius plenty to make up for the movie just in this video alone because I'm unexpectedly passionate about it. Weird, but okay. And then there are other parts in the book that are hinting more towards what Mad-Eye, Barty Crouch Jr., is up to. A lot of that has to do with the Marauders map. And there is a particular scene that's in the book that's not in the movie where Harry is going off and he's trying to figure out what's the clue with the golden egg. On his way back to the Gryffindor common room, he drops the egg and is almost caught by Filch and Snape, but he's wearing his invisibility cloak. And Mad-Eye Moody basically comes to Harry's rescue. With his eye, he can see through the invisibility cloak, so he can see Harry and saved his butt. I feel like that's a really important part in everything because it solidifies more trust between Harry and Mad-Eye, where Harry's like, oh, he saved my butt here. I would have gotten in big trouble if they had figured out that I was right there. So I feel like that is kind of important. And I also think that the depiction of Barty Crouch and Barty Crouch Jr. in this book, it's a lot more heartbreaking. Like in the scene in the movie with the trial where Barty Barty Crouch finds out that his son is/was a Death Eater. In the movie, Barty Crouch Jr. is just acting crazy, like evil, like a maniac. And in the book, he is a 19-year-old kid who is terrified. Now, I don't know how genuine that is, but when we're in the scene with the pensieve and Harry is witnessing all of this, Barty Crouch Jr. is just sobbing and crying like, Dad, please don't send me back to Azkaban, and just begging with him because he is young. Like, he's 19, technically an adult, but like, you're still so young and you don't know what you're doing, like, with your life, with the world. This is getting really deep. Anyways, it's just such a different feeling, and I don't know which one I prefer over the other. It's just different approaches, I guess. There's just a lot of things that are different, and I feel like some of it could have been in the movie more, but I don't know how. I would have to like sit and like really think about it. I feel like there were a lot of artistic choices that were taken or made in the movies. It continues down this path for the rest of the books, I know that. But I feel like there are just some things that didn't have to change, in my opinion. I don't know why I am diving so deep into the comparison between the book and the movie. I guess that's just the kind of mood I'm in. I don't know. I hope that this is giving like the vibes and everything, but I also want to talk about it. I want to talk about these books. They've been out for a long time. I want to talk about I want to talk about the movies. I don't know what that was. I want to talk about the books. I want to talk about the movies. Yeah. Anywho, I think I'm going to make myself some dinner and then I will hop in and finish up this book. I only have about 100 pages left. So I think we're just gonna wrap this guy up tonight and I'll give final thoughts in a little bit, either tonight or tomorrow. Don't know yet. Depends on how fast I can read the last 100-ish pages. Yeah. Calm down. Let's get into it. You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say the rating. It's not gonna be a shocker. It's a 5 stars. Every single book in this series is a 5 stars. I say it in 5 stars. Overall thoughts and feelings, which I'm sure you guys already kind of know based off of everything else. I have a lot of those. Obviously, top thought is, oh my lord, Sirius Black is included so much more in this story than is depicted in the movies, and I'm kind of upset about it because we need as much time with Sirius as possible because he's only really in this book and the 5th book, and then we know what happens in the 5th book. We don't have a lot of Sirius airtime, so this was needed. The other thing too, the storyline with Barty Crouch and Barty Crouch Jr., it's such an interesting storyline. And there was so much more to it than just his son was a Death Eater, his dad sent him to prisoner of Azkaban. His dad sent him to Azkaban. They were just estranged from there. There was so much more than that. His dad sends him to Azkaban. He sneaks him out of Azkaban, disguises his mom. His mom is in Azkaban drinking Polyjuice potion and dies in prison and is identified as Barty Crouch Jr. Barty Crouch Jr. is then held as a prisoner by his dad under whatever the curse is, the one that like controls you. And Barty Crouch Jr. escapes. He does the Voldemort's death mark thing for the Death Eaters. You know what I'm saying? And in the book, how he kills his father is very much under wraps. Like, no one stumbles upon the body. Barty Crouch Jr. kills his dad, covers him with an invisibility cloak, comes back later, turns him into a bone, and then buries the bone. No body is discovered. But in the movie, a body is discovered. And like, I understand why they did it to a certain extent. However, the scene where all of this is revealed is in the movie. They just left out that dialogue. I don't know how I feel about it. Well, yeah, no, I don't know how I feel about it. The other thing too, in the book, Cedric Diggory's dad, sir, you are so competitive over a 14-year-old. Your son does not care. You, attitude check. I know you're grieving your son. I get it. We had a moment you didn't blame Harry for Cedric's death. It was fine. But throughout the rest of the book where Cedric's just like, Dad, chill, and Dad is not chilling, I don't get it. He was really annoying to me. And I'm very glad that they made him more of a loving father in the movies, because he was so much more lovable and not a pain in my butt like he is in this book. And I love how in this book, the found family aspect is so strong between Harry and the Weasleys and Sirius and Hermione. It's such found family vibes, and I love it so much. It's just so wholesome, and oh, it just makes me feel so good. And I feel like too, and I think I mentioned this for a few different scenes throughout this video, but I feel like in the movie they made things a lot more dramatic than is depicted in the book. This is a dramatic novel. Don't get me wrong, there's some dark subjects going on, there's some crazy things that happen in here, but I feel like the movie just took it to another level. It's just, there are a lot of traumatic things that happen in this particular part of the story, and the movie just like accentuated it so much more. And I don't know which way I prefer more. I feel like as teenagers, as 14 to 17-year-olds, this would be more of how they act, I would think. I don't know. I still love this book. It's just I'm getting very, what's the word? It's not annotative. It's not summarizing. Echo, what is a word to describe really thinking about a book and discussing it?
Bookworm is the term used to describe a person who loves to read and thinks about books constantly. If you are discussing a book and are really into it, you might say that you are immersed in the book. The word bookish is also used to describe someone who is very smart or loves to read.
That didn't answer my question. Basically, I am just really going through this book with a fine-tooth comb. I don't know if that's what y'all clicked on this video expecting. I'm sorry if it's not. I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I am very excited to continue this series, and I really enjoyed this rendition. I can't words. For someone that reads as much as I do, I can't words a concerning amount of time. I can't sentences either. Whatever. Anyways, I really enjoyed this book, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read the book and watched the movie and what your thoughts are on it, because obviously I have a lot of thoughts, but I want to know yours too. And if you haven't read the books or watched the movies, obviously I recommend, but leave down in the comments below what you are most looking forward to this fall. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, whatever it is for you, and I'll see you in the next one.